afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast tactical highlight. In this case, looking a bit of a sort of a defensive situation. You're under attack. What can you do? Of course, most people are just going to sort of rush troops to the front line, sort of deal with it. But there's also another way, of actually dealing with sort of a large push. And that's a counterattack, specifically a flank on the counterattack, which is not something most people sort of consider. A good key also here could also slightly explain what a good flank involves. A good flank usually involves two things. Something to keep the opponent's attention fixed, and then an actual flanking element. In this case, the Stormtroopers act as the flanking element, hitting sort of softer, weaker targets. The Panzer IV, in this case, is basically the bait alongside some other support units, drawing away attention. Furthermore, increasing the effectiveness then of the Stormtroopers, then flank behind him. And he's reacting here, for course, an MD-42 stole from me earlier. Rather poor maneuver by me, to be honest, but still. All of a sudden, you can see there's a lot more damage being caused there, a lot more harm. He's struggling a lot more. And ultimately, in this case, he ends up surrendering because, well, he's been completely outmaneuvered. He's lost his machine gun. He's lost his sniper. He's got Stormtroopers here, basically threatening the retreat path of a lot of his units. And there's an MD-42 nearby as well, further causing problems. So in this case, the lesson is, to consider numerous things when actually attacking. Oh, that's actually a nice detail there on the Stug. And Elisabeth. Interesting. But, again, when dealing with an attack, you don't always have to attack, head on again. Most people just seem to say, okay, I have to attack head on. But a really good trick is actually to try and flank the opponent's attack, hitting the attack sort of in the rear, taking out the weaker units that are supporting the front line, the spearhead itself, and that way, sort of cutting it apart there, for example. And also in this case, I thought it was a good way of explaining some of the good elements of a flank, because most people just seem to think, flank is just slightly sort of oblique attack angle, whereas a good flank tends to be much deeper, of course, with some retreat plan, but also tends to involve an actual distraction element in the front line, something that ties down the opponent's attention. And that's also the really good part of flank here. That's keeping the opponent's attention occupied while you then hit them in the rear, thus further increasing the damage of your flanking units. So there you go, sort of a quick tactical highlight here, a bit brief, but I thought this had some, worth, perhaps something a bit to teach there again, what you can also do when an attack. Again, don't just necessarily rush blindly into it, but have some units occupy and then hit them in the flank with, some more units with high impact, like, say, the Stormtroopers, Panzers can also work, for example. So there you go. Hopefully this educated you. Hopefully this got a few ideas in how to deal with enemy attacks and the likes. And if you're wondering, by the way, about this game, it's one of the recently released for the Wehrmacht there, with the winter update here around Christmas. You can buy it for a reasonably fine sum there. I think it's overall quite nice looking. It has some actually pretty interesting details, like, for example, this one, but also the faces that are drawn on it. So there you go. Hopefully this has been of use to you. If you have, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. This is Imperial Dane signing off. Cheers.